Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rinneke Priscilia and my friends Nada Alya Putri and Rizky Wulandari. We are from the group. Will present about stereotypes. First is about definition. First definition is from Cambridge Dictionary. Stereotype is a set idea that people have about what someone or something is like, especially an idea that is wrong. An idea that is used to describe a particular type of person or thing, or a person or thing thought to represent such an idea. According to the video, Nancy Evans and Richard, 1984, stereotypes are seen as cognitive structure that mediates the information processing involved in person. And then according to Gombe and Byrne, 2008, stereotypes are beliefs about the nature or characteristics of social groups that do not believe in various views of other groups, both positive and negative. Next is from Franzoy, 2008. Stereotypes are beliefs about people that place them into one category and do not include various or variation of individuals. This social trust is obtained from other people and is maintained through the rules of social interaction. And then according to Lippmann, stereotypes are individual attitudes so strongly interconditioned by collective conduct that they become highly standardized and uniform within the group. He also held that a stereotype is a composite of ideas or attitudes that make up the picture of our head or the perceptive mass, which means that all the experience acquired in the past determine our perception about the object at the particular moment. In short, stereotype is something inside of people's mind or belief about person or thing which makes standardize the perception, even though the things that they had in mind about how are not necessarily.
Next is type of stereotype. There are some type of stereotype such as nationality stereotype, gender stereotype, political stereotype, and racial stereotype. First, nationality stereotype. Nationality stereotype is a belief system about certain characteristics that exist in a group of nations along with their status, society, and cultural norms. Nationality stereotype is a positive or negative belief, perception, or prejudice toward a country. Prejudice can take the form of feeling of dislike, anger, disgust, discomfort, and even hatred. This is some example of nationality stereotype. German are Nazis. Despite the fact that the Nazi Reich was decimated at the end of World War II, the Germans are still sometimes referred to as being Nazi-like, especially dealing with their strict sense of organization. Americans are fat. Due to the cheapness and convenience of fast food, the United States has begun to have high obesity ration in recent years. Because of this and the general wealth of the nation, Americans on the internet are generally considered fat, greedy, and entitled. The French are coward. The stereotype originated when they quickly surrendered in World War II to the Nazis. To this day, they are mocked for it and have obtained the reputation of being soft coward. Russians are drunk. The stereotype generally originated from the harsh time in Russia, the communist regime. When the pay was very low and the cold was immense, many Russians resort to alcoholism for comfort. Thus, the Russian gained the image of drunk and clumsy alcoholic. And there are also other stereotypes like Japanese can make anything good and Russians are scary. Next is gender stereotype. According to the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights (OHCHR), a gender stereotype is a generalized view or preconception about attributes or characteristics that are or ought to be possessed by women and men, or the role that are or should be performed by men and women. Gender stereotyping is defined as an overgeneralization of characteristics, differences, and attributes of a certain group based on their gender. Gender stereotype refers to the practice of ascribing to an individual woman or man specific attribute, characteristic, or roles by reason only of her or his members in the social group of women or men. Gender stereotyping is wrongful when it results in a violation or violation of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Gender stereotype compound and intersecting with other stereotypes have a disproportionate negative impact on certain groups of women, such as women from minority or indigenous groups, women with disabilities, women from lower caste groups or with lower economic status, and migrant women. This is example of gender stereotype. Girls should play with dolls and boys should play with trucks. Girls should be thin and beautiful. Boys should be tall and muscular. Boys should engage in sport and refrain from more creative pursuits. Women are emotional and men are logical. Women are natural nurturers and men are natural leaders. Women are submissive and men are dominant.
Now I will continue the presentation. Political stereotypes. Political stereotype is a belief about other political attitudes which are substantially miscalibrated and perception of partisan differences systematically exaggerated. Then what drives the distortion in belief about other people's political attitudes? It is the belief that are influenced by individual characteristics. For instance, voters who more strongly identify with one party are more likely to exaggerate partisan differences. Then what is the example of political stereotypes? The example in United States, the stereotypes in the political there is like when people say that Democrats are likely to say that Republicans are close-minded or Republicans are lazier than other Americans, or the general stereotype which a good leader must be a man. Last is the racial stereotypes. Racial stereotype is the presence of ideological belief that people can be classified into race and that these racial differences explain physical or intellectual differences and the outcome of social variation, or which can be said as racial categorization which reflect to the process of placing people into distinct groups based on variation in phenotypic physical feature of the face and body, such as skin color, hair color, eye shapes, and lip fullness. Racial stereotype or racism is a widely used term is a worldwide problem that occurs because of overt prejudice, hostility, or negative feeling held by someone about a racialized person or group. And unfortunately, people are still treated unequally, such as being refused a job or apartment simply because of overt bias toward them based on race and related ground. Then what is the example of racial stereotypes? The example is like when people said that Mexicans are lazy and came into America illegally, or when people said Arabs and Muslims are terrorists, or when people said black outside of the United States are poor, or the stereotypes about the Asians that are good at math, like to eat rice, or that Asians are all narrow-eyed. which we know that none of this is 100% true. Then what is the impact of stereotypes? First, stereotypes hindering the right of everyone to carry out activities. There is still mutual disagreement due to the influence of the perception of other individuals or groups in influencing the individual or group's mindsets. Also, stereotypes frequent conflicts between individuals or groups, which cause a barrier between individuals and other individuals or groups with other groups. And the existence of stereotypes of social disparities between communities are already attached to each individual or group.
Next part is about stereotype in Islamic views. Islam teaches about the importance of the unity of mankind because it is impossible for humans to live alone in isolation. Every Muslim is obligated to live as a united and unresolved people, holding on to his ideal under the guidance of their leader who has authority over the Ummah. As in Al-Quran Surah Al-Hujurat verse 13, A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dzakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum syu'uban wa qabaila lita'aruf. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Innallaha alimun khabir. That has meaning, O humanity, in that we created you from a male and a female, and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you. Allah is truly all-knowing, all-aware. And then An-Nisa verse 152. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَلَمْ يَفَرِّقُوا بَيْنَ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ سَوْفَ يُؤْتِيهِمْ أُجُورَهُمْ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَّحِيمًا. That has meaning, as for those who believe in Allah and His Messenger, accepting all, rejecting none, He will surely give them their reward, and Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. The meaning of this verse is that humans are indeed created by Allah in different ways to know each other. You can imagine if all humans on this earth have the same face. Surely we will find it difficult to get to know each other. In addition, the verse also affirms that before Allah all humans are the same. The only difference is their pity. Therefore, we as humans must always compete to increase our faith and pity. Finally, Allah Most High has created humans in different ways as evidence of His majesty. That's all of our presentation. Hope you guys can understand well. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.